Hey, what's up? This is Wilspur with Abysmal Hymns, and today I have with me a special guest, Lee Jones from uh the you want to introduce your band for us?
Killed by Mouth.
Killed by Mouth, and he's the guitar player, and we're going to go over our top five Iron Maiden albums.
Great
Um,
stuff.
I brought him as a pitch hitter since, as you'll see, Reza is not a huge Iron Maiden fan.
Yeah,
Might have a slight dislike for them, but hey, it is what it is. Everybody has their flaws. I mean, this was for me. This was easy because there's certain songs that like have been staples of almost my entire life. Because this is a
yeah.
band I've been listening to since I was 10 years old. So,
Same. I think
uh,
seven years old when I first.
so these are kind of staples of that,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
but there's a couple. One that comes closer to being a new song. At least it made it to my teenage years. But they have such a breadth of work, so I think
yeah.
those that stand out. But yeah,
Yeah,
here we go. What's your first pick?
okay. Well, I'm going for Still Life off Peace of Mind. It's kind of like an unofficial title track, but I really like that one. It's got a rare Dave Murray songwriting credit along with Steve Harris. Really liked the vibe at the beginning, the backwards message. I always thought was cool when I was a kid, first heard that. And I just really like that song. Yeah, it's one of my favorites on Peace of Mind. It's kind of a dark yeah, a dark kind of vibe for it. I think it's actually based on The Inhabitant of the Lake by Ramsey Campbell. So it's got obviously Steve Harris, he does quite a lot with his literature references and stuff. But that's my number five. I really like that track. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I always pick alternate songs because I know I'm gonna have to pivot, and that was gonna be on one of mine too. So once again, dark and shows a different, more melodic side that you don't really
Absolutely.
see a lot, particularly on that album, because that album is
Yeah.
really epic and banging. And I was listening to
Yeah.
some
What?
Iron Maiden interviews earlier today, and Steve Harris was saying how that Peace of Mind was probably his favorite album, more so than Number of
Yes.
the Beast.
Yeah. I've heard him say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got a unique sound, that album. It's
Right, right. I mean, excellent production. He
yeah.
kind of accredited it to like Nico coming in for that one,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's definitely an enduring album, so
Yeah.
it's
Awesome.
hard to argue with it. Um, let's see. So for mine, I go in chronological order, and this is really the only song I'm going for of this time period. And because I've been pretty public about the fact that I go for the Bruce years over the Paul Di'Anno years, but I understand why some people like them better because I have some friends that are into punk rock and they just like Paul
Yeah.
Di'Anno.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go with Off Killers. I'm gonna go with the song Wrathchild,
Oof. Yeah.
and
Belter.
I think that it's one of his better vocal performances,
Yeah.
and like with that song, I can kind of see why the punk rock kids like them because
Yeah.
it does have that drive, and the bass line is just incredible, but it's different than what we think of Steve Harris for now
Yeah.
because
It's
it's
more of a
not a busy bass line. He's not
yeah.
doing a bunch of runs. It's just a
Yeah. More of a groove than a gallop on that
right.
one, isn't it? And yeah, one of my favorite songs as well. Yeah, great album as well. Like, as you said, got more of a street sort of punky vibe, the first two records, I'd say. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, Wrathchild's a killer. Excuse the pun.
And you get to hear him go up into his falsetto a little more
Yeah,
successfully than some attempts. Sometimes he doesn't quite get there, but at least he tries.
yeah, great singer.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, what you got next?
I'm gonna go with Sea of Madness off Somewhere in Time. Adrian Smith written song. Again, just really like the vibe of it. Love the vocal harmonies, the guitar solo, everything, just great. And funny enough, a lot of my mates at the time when that album came out weren't keen on that because of the keyboards and stuff. But I've always loved Somewhere in Time, that being one of my favorite tracks off that album. So yeah, that's my number four.
Yeah, that one that's another one that almost made mine. It's probably the darkest song on that album, I think.
Absolutely, yeah,
And it's a little more concise. I mean, it's not as poppy as Wasted Years,
yeah,
but it's also not the loneliness of the long distance runner.
yeah,
So it it worked. And I think, that Somewhere in Time's an underrated album in their catalog because it kind of bridges the gap from less high energy like they were with Powerslave,
yeah,
but not quite as proggy as they would get.
yeah, yeah. It's the jump towards Seventh Son, isn't it, for sure? Yeah, but I've always loved Summer in Time, and of course the artwork as well. You know,
Right.
everything
Yeah.
about it was just mind blowing when I was a kid. Yeah, remember
Cool. So what you
queuing
got
up for
next?
them. Um, I've got Hallowed Be Thy Name off Number of the Beast. Um, I know there was a little bit of controversy with this song recently. I think Steve Harris got sued because he pinched some lyrics off Beckett's Life Shadow track. Like, so I know they pulled it from the set for a few years while they were going through that. But it's always been an absolute classic live, and my personal favorite song off Number of the Beast as well. Really, really like that one. It's kind of got all the hallmarks of Maiden, really, isn't it? You know, the twin guitar solos, the intro, Bruce's voice, fantastic.
Cool. Yeah. I mean, that's we're of one mind because that was another one that I had to pull out an
Sorry,
alternate for. So,
sorry, man.
no, it's all good. I one thing I liked about this song is the intro,
Yes,
how you get to hear a different color of Bruce's voice
yeah,
because he's singing in his baritone register.
yeah.
And I used to be in a Iron Maiden cover band with some of the guys from Mastodon, and we
Oh, cool.
just did, and I was the Bruce for that. So we just did
Wow.
Number of the Beast all the way through. And I always knew that I was going to have to take a breath or two and figure out how
Yeah,
to
yeah,
sustain that note.
yeah.
Um,
It's a
so
hell
yeah,
of a tune.
it's a
Hats
beast of
off
a
to you if you
song.
could sing that. Yeah, yeah. Really, really moody intro. Fantastic tune from start to finish, and you can't really imagine them not doing that live. It's an
Right.
absolute
Yeah. I think they
classic.
played that every time I've seen them.
Yeah, yeah. Great, great song. Yeah, really good. Sorry, I picked
But it's
another
all
one.
right. I was able, there was some waiting in the wings because I mean, it's not like I had a shortage of favorites.
Yeah,
So, and it kind of makes me pull from a weird, well, not really a weird time period. I guess it makes sense to me now because it's that album has become a classic. But I will go next with this is another one from Number of the Beast, and it's a song that I really liked singing a lot, and it gave me learning the song gave me a new appreciation for it, and that's Invaders. I think
Oh
it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
totally underrated song.
yeah. Absolutely. Yeah,
Um, one of Bruce's better. I mean, not to say that he has any bad performances, but he never really hits into a head register, but he aims in that direction a couple of
yeah,
times in that one. And I mean, it's upbeat. It has all the energy you could want from him. It's about Vikings.
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty much the quintessential heavy metal song with all those ingredients in it, and
Brilliant.
cool bass line in it too. So.
Great, great drumming. Big fan of Clive Burr. I really liked his drumming on the first three albums, and yeah, Invaders, absolute classic. Yeah,
One of my it didn't make it's not making the list, but one of my favorite performances I'll just have to say is Clive Burr's drumming on The Prisoner.
yes,
I just like that's one of the best drum sounds recorded.
yeah, on the
It's
on the
kind of, it's a
intro,
simple beat, but he just almost like a John Bonham thing.
yeah, and those almost like machine gun snares towards the
Right.
end there. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, it's a sad that he's no longer with us, but he was a great drummer, really good. Yeah, yeah, Invader's good choice. Yeah,
There we go. All right, what you got next?
I'm gonna pick Powerslave from Powerslave, but my personal favorite version is the one on Live After Death. So I'm gonna say that one simply because the first time I heard it on Live After Death, I just couldn't believe how faster and heavier it sounded. The middle bit with the guitar solos and the bass underneath is just sublime live. It's just absolutely killer. I mean, as good as the album version is, there's something about that live version which just really grabs me. Hell of a tune. Dickinson wrote that one, I believe, and just love the lyrics, the themes, and obviously it's got the really cool riffs. But for me, it's that instrumental bit in the middle with the guitar solos with the bass playing something underneath as well. Really, really, really cool. So that
And
would
it has a
be,
darker chord structure with that dun dun dun.
yeah, that sort of like, yeah, literally Egyptian sort of vibe to it.
Right.
Yeah,
But it's funny, I've heard that this song is also he uses it as a metaphor for being a rock star.
yes. Yeah, I've heard Bruce say that it's basically the slave to the band or slave to the tour, or the
Right.
slave to the power of Iron Maiden. Yeah, I've heard him say that in an interview as well. So I think we may have discussed this before, just back and forth on Facebook. But yeah, I think the whole Egyptian thing um, came from that song and the triangular shaped ladders and things that kept appearing in the studio at the time. And it's just eventually yeah, made its way into that lyric. Yeah,
For
fantastic
sure.
song. Yeah, one of my
Yeah, and
favorites.
once again, I mean, you're almost like 3 for 3, I think, there. So once again, I am pivoting, but I'm staying with Powerslave, and I'm gonna go for Back in the Village.
Oh yeah, what a killer.
Um, just because, I mean, when I go back and listen to Powerslave, it's not a weird album, but and I know that they weren't huge into drugs, but it feels like a very cocaine album because it's like
Yeah,
super fast all the way through. Not
yeah.
all the way through, but there's some breaks, but it's like,
Probably the most metal sounding record, isn't it? I would say.
right. And it's super aggressive. I kind of see it as like the precursor to thrash in a lot of
Yeah,
ways. I'm sure it
yeah,
definitely influenced Metallica. Um,
yeah, yeah. I agree. That song particularly has got some killer riffs in it. I was never sure whether it was a follow-up to The Prisoner. I've never quite
I
um,
think so. I think
got some
it's supposed to
references,
be,
isn't it?
yeah. I heard that that's actually a trilogy, and now I'm forgetting what the other song is, but I think it's on, I want to say it's on Fear of the Dark, but I'll have to cross-reference that at some point.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to look into that. But yeah, Back in the Village, what a tune. Yeah, the
And
way
once again, for me, it's always about the vocals, and I think that that's the chorus is one of the best vocal melodies on
yeah,
the album.
yeah, yeah, it kind of goes off on a few tangents arrangement wise, which I really like. That I mean, Powerslave on the whole is fairly proggy in places, and that obviously Rhyme the Ancient Mariner and the Duelists and things like that. But Back in the Village has got all those hallmarks of Maiden, really, the cool guitar riffs, great vocals, great lyrics, yeah, great arrangement. Yeah, good choice. Yeah, killer
All
choice.
right, what you got next?
Lastly, I'm going to go with my all-time favorite Maiden song, believe it or not, which is Phantom of the Opera. And reason being, I think I was maybe 10 years old. There was an advert in the UK for a drink called Lucasade, and it actually had the Phantom of the Opera music on in that advert, and we were all just like, "What is that?" sort of thing. And I remember hearing that, trying to work out where it come from, and then hearing that album for the first time just absolutely blew me away. Me and my son recently worked out all the guitar parts and the harmonies and stuff in. It really does make you appreciate how well that was written so early on as well. When you consider the rest of the first album is a little bit more punk, a little bit more, sort of things like Prowler and stuff, which are a lot simpler. really cool song as well. But Phantom of the Opera just had something extra, I think, and it's always been mind blowing. The drums, again, you can actually listen to the isolated drums, I think, on YouTube, and they're all one take, and they're just flawless, absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I really like that first album. And yeah, that was probably my favorite Maiden song of all time, I'd say.
It's, you know, I can see it. It's darker once again. Those harmonies. When I hear that song, it always makes me think, well, now I can see where Merciful Fate got some of their
Yeah,
influence, or a bit, you know, because I before I bought the first two Iron Maiden albums, I think I was already four albums deep into the Bruce stuff, and
yeah,
then I went back and got those. So I was already listening to King Diamond and Merciful Fate, and I was like, oh, well, I can hear that.
yeah.
It's kind of like when I grew up as a kid listening to Kiss, and I went back and I heard Firehouse. I was like, well, that is a total ripoff of Led Zeppelin, but
Yeah.
you know,
No, I think you're right. I think that first Maiden album was a big influence. James Hetfield always cites it as a huge influence. I mean,
right. Yeah, you can definitely hear how it influenced the entire Ride the Lightning album.
yeah, yeah, you can hear. I mean that whole sort of new wave of British metal. I think was big with those thrash guys and stuff. So yeah, it really kind of comes through. I do. I mean, Steve Harris particularly is unhappy with the production on that first record, but that's part of the charm of it for me. I just love that rawness. I love all the feedback. I love the bits where they haven't cut things properly and that. It's just all adds to just the vibe, and the bass is whomping on that first record. As bass frequency, I mean, because he went a little bit more trebly on the later albums, but it's really fat and thick on that first record. Yeah, Phantom of the Opera, great tune. That'd be my number one.
For sure. Yeah. I remember as a teenager when I first heard the song thinking that it wasn't, I was expecting more organ in it.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think it's one of Paul Di'Anno's better vocal performances and where he doesn't get a lot of credit because it's one of the rare cases where I think I like his version better than Bruce's.
Oh yeah. Oh God, yeah. Yeah. I mean, Bruce is arguably the better of the two singers, but there's something about Paul Di'Anno doing those early songs. It doesn't sound odd with Bruce. It's just for some reason you just kind of get used to listening to the Di'Anno versions. I've actually heard some Bruce demos that he done for Killers where they've taken Di'Anno's vocals off, and they sound odd as well. He literally singing over the
I
actual
mean, I've
tracks.
heard him sing Wrathchild,
Yeah,
and obviously they always close with the song Iron Maiden.
yeah,
Um, I was listening to an interview with Steve Harris today where he says that they would re-recorded all of those songs but two on the first album. So now I have to go track those singles down and see what I'm
yeah.
missing.
I know Prowler and Charlotte the Harlot are, I think, on the B side of one of the Seventh Son singles. Maybe,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
yeah,
was on the Seventh Son promo tour where he
yeah,
was talking about it. So he did bring up those two.
yeah.
Um,
There's a few on.
which that would be interesting. I
Yeah.
mean, I could see Bruce doing Charlotte.
Oh yeah. In fact, has he done? They may have done that as a B side as well. I'll have to go and check, but they definitely done Prowler and yeah, some of the other tracks. So yeah, that'd be interesting.
I wonder if he's ever done Remember Tomorrow.
Yeah, that's a banger as well. Didn't
Metallica
Metallica do
covered
a
it, I think.
cover of that? Yeah. Yeah, Remember Tomorrow's another one. I mean, I actually found this quite hard to pick five, if I'm
Well,
honest, because
it's not going to be one of my picks. It would come up as an honorable mention.
yeah.
My other pick, I'm gonna go with Moonchild.
Oh, I had that as one of my spares. Yeah. We have great minds think alike
Yeah,
here.
there we
Yeah.
go. Just because it's the darkest song on Seventh Son, I
Yeah, for
think.
sure.
Very malicious lyrics. They don't sing about the devil a lot, but he's mentioned there.
It's vicious
Um, it's
vocal.
probably one of the best opening tracks of an album ever.
Yeah,
The strummed kind of folky intro. Then the it's one of the places where you can't argue against the keyboards because they really work leading into it, filling that space.
yeah. It sounds amazing. I remember queuing up as a kid, waiting outside HMV record store to get that and taking it home, hearing it for the first time. Yeah, Moonchild. Yeah, as I said, I had as one of my spares. Absolutely blinding song. Yeah, yeah, good choice.
Yeah, and his voice, I mean, his voice sounds more aggressive.
Yeah, sinister and
Yeah,
dark and sort of yeah, nasty sounding on that
which is
track.
one thing you don't always pick up on Bruce, but it's less subtle than it's more subtle than like Peter Gabriel. But there's an element of acting in his singing,
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
you know, and that theatrical element is, I grew up a musical theater kid, so I obviously appreciate that. And
But he's cut.
that's how he said he developed his singing style was, he was always singing to the person on the back row.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. He's always been a more theatrical, compared to sort of Diano. Bruce has obviously got more of a thespian sort of thing about him as he
Right. You can
puts
definitely, if he pulled the
more.
David Bowie and walked out with the skull and started doing a Shakespeare, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, yeah, good choice, Moonchild. Yeah, great guitar solos again in that one. That was, my favorite era really was when they just had Murray and Smith. Yeah, just that left and right thing. Really
So
good.
if we had to go with a post Seventh Son song, what would you have to pick?
Ooh, I really like Judas My Guide on Fear of the Dark. I
Okay.
think again that's another Dave Murray, rare Dave Murray one. That the song Fear of the Dark itself is really good as well. Yeah, if I'm honest, yeah, when Adrian Smith left, that did have an effect on me because I didn't think the album No Prayer for the Dying they did after Adrian left was as good as Seventh Son, production wise, everything really. But I mean, they have written some belters. I mean, I'm glad him and Bruce came back as well. But yeah, Judas
Yeah,
My Guide's kind
the where I tap out is the um Blaze Bailey years.
of, oh God, yeah, yeah, yeah. If you were going to do a top five worst Maiden
Right.
songs,
It would probably all be on X Factor.
yeah,
Um,
that was a really disappointing record. I almost tossed it out the window. I had it on CD and just couldn't believe, it was a real kind of step backwards. Not no disrespect to Blaze Bailey, but I, I just think he'd probably say the same. He was just out of his depth, I think.
yeah, it was not the
Joining.
right gig. I don't
No,
even know what they were thinking with that.
it seems to me like they kind of rushed into it. They kind of wrote the stuff really quickly and pretty much just went in and recorded it.
I always thought they should have gotten what's his name, Michael Kaiski from Halloween
Yeah,
would have been a better choice,
yeah,
but
that was everybody's. Yeah, because I always saw Halloween were kind of like very similar to Maiden.
right. A little too
Um,
happy though.
yeah.
And that's why when people try to argue that Iron Maiden is power metal, I
No,
always
it's
say,
not.
no, that's the like listen to Iron Maiden, then listen to Halloween, and you can see what the difference is. Too many
Yeah,
major chords over here on the Halloween side.
yeah, yeah. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And it always sounds like everybody is like rushing off to celebrate their Dungeons and Dragons victory.
Yeah. Yeah. I never saw Maiden as a power metal band. Not in the same sense as like
Right.
Halloween
But
and
you go to a Maiden show and you see a lot of Sabaton shirts, you see a lot
yeah.
of Camelot shirts, you see, know.
They're just
Oh,
loved by every genre, really, aren't they? I mean, like I said, the first thing I was aware of was the album covers when I was a kid, and just being fascinated at seeing the covers. I think the first time I ever heard them, I would have been about seven, so I was born mid 70s, so this would have been around the time. In fact, I think it was. an older brother of a mate of mine who'd sneaked Number of the Beast
Okay.
into junior school, and everybody was terrified of it. So
Yeah, it was a
yeah,
little bit before. You'll be jealous of this. So the first time I saw them was in 1980, and they were opening up for Kiss.
oh wow, yeah,
So it was Creatures of the Night tour for Kiss, and I think it was either the first album or Killers. I don't know. I was too young. Like I'd never heard Iron Maiden before. Um,
that's amazing.
but I didn't rush out and buy the. I was unsure about. Even then, I was unsure about Paul Diano
Yeah,
because he had short hair. So I didn't. When you're a kid, you think that that's
yeah,
that
I know what you
important,
mean. The hair was really
right?
important.
Because I was just into like anybody like I think everybody I listened to at that point in time was wearing makeup. It was like Alice Cooper, Ozzy, and
Yeah,
you know, Kiss, obviously. So
yeah, it was almost like he was in the wrong band in a sense. He did look and act different to the rest of the guys. He always had more of a like he'd be in a punk band.
right.
Um,
Well, I heard that that was kind of like he was almost like Tony Iommi, where he was like, in gangs and involved in all sorts
yeah,
of stuff.
yeah, that's it. I actually got to meet him because the first gig I ever did was supporting Paul Di'Anno's Killers band um, in Cardiff in South Wales here, and he was basically just doing the first two albums. And what a lovely guy, but clearly living the life. Like I think he was
Right. Yeah, I can
seemed a
imagine.
bit wild, like but a lovely guy, and he still had the voice back then. He was fantastic. So yeah, so I did get to meet Paul Di'Anno, which was cool. But
So as I was watching Iron Maiden interviews today, it made me kind of reflect on how they're perceived in America versus England. Are they like more revered, do you think, because of that connection? Or
I don't know. It's interesting, isn't it? Because you think back to the World Slavery Tour and stuff. I mean, Maiden were absolutely huge in America um, around that time. I'd probably say maybe bigger than they were in the UK at that time. But the Americans have always loved Maiden. And again, they weren't getting a lot of radio play or anything back then. I think there was the whole thing with the Number of the Beast, wasn't there, with the devil worshipping stuff and that. I think that's partly the reason they put that backwards message on Peace of Mind.
right.
It's just to play with people. But yeah, it's hard to say. I'd probably say, I mean, I don't know, they've got to be one of the biggest metal bands on the planet for sure. No,
Sure.
like
So pretty much wherever they are, that's well, how do they compare to Metallica in that regard?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean,
Like I would think
Metallica.
Metallica would be more popular in America, which I
I
think is
mean,
probably true.
I
As
just
far as
went to
like venues they play, like I know when I'm in Florida, but I saw Iron Maiden play an arena where Metallica played the football stadium.
yeah, yeah. Metallica is a massive draw. I just saw them recently as well, and I think it was 76,000 people, which was the biggest turnout they'd ever had in Cardiff Arena,
Okay,
even more than the rugby matches and stuff like. So yeah, they're still bigger than ever. So I don't know out of the two, which is the bigger band, but yeah, they've just survived and they just cut through it all somehow. Yeah.
cool. Well, awesome. Well, it was great having you on. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah,
Maybe next
absolutely.
time we'll do Metallica.
Yeah, cool. I got used to the Zoom thing now, so yeah, just give me a
All
shout.
right, hey,
Yeah,
we got you broken in on Zoom, so it's all good. Well,
brilliant.
thanks so much. And if you're watching, hit all the like and subscribe buttons. Go listen to the songs that you haven't heard. And we will see you soon.
Great. Thanks, Will.